Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're able to join us on a nice Friday afternoon. The weather is great. We've had a long week, but this is a way that we would love to finish this week out talking about this great opportunity at a brand that we all know and love, the Nike brand. So we'll get into it. Before we do that, on this call, we have Julie Fielding, our assistant director. We have Cody Riffle, who's our employee relations. Joe Marullo, who does our office and office manager. Again, I'm Maurice Washington, the director of the Career Center. Why is this important? Because we have decided, when Michigan decided to bring on Nike as a sponsorship, the most important thing for us and the MAC is that there are opportunities. Not only are you wearing this brand or this logo on your chest or on your back, I think it's important for them to understand that the young people that are wearing this brand and logo should be working in that space, right? Bringing value to that particular organization. And so we definitely want them to be knowledgeable of that. In the past couple of years, we've been successful. We've had over 6 student athletes who had a chance to work for Nike. It's highly competitive, right? But because of the brand, but because of the talent that we have at our school, we're able to make it happen. So yes, it's coming soon. There will be more details there. Also with us today, we have one of my favorites of all time, right? She hates when I say that. Our alumni, because we want alumni response. I wanted you all, instead of just hearing from us about Nike, I want you to really, really get a perspective of what it's like to be behind the scenes. Now, this young professional not only joined the team, but she got a chance to work on the Jordan line. So that's important. So really, really ask her tons and tons of questions. That's why she's here. And we'll go forward in that. So if you go to the next slide, Julie. All right, so we got, again, I want to know what our alumni Nike response is. We got Hallie Thone here, women's basketball alum, recent graduate. So you think about recent graduate in 2019, she's done so much since leaving here. So she's account manager at Gardner. So Hallie, how are you doing first? How's everything going?
Good. It's Friday. I can't complain. I love my Friday. So I'm excited for the weekend.
Right. That's good stuff. So I got some information from you, Hallie, and if you would kind of just take us through, your experiences, we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, so I was able to have the opportunity to do the Nike internship in 2019. I had applied for it my sophomore year, I think, Maurice. I think that was it, and I got turned down originally. So then I worked with Maurice, and we worked on this summer adding little experiences, one-day shadows, just to build up my resume so that when I applied my senior year, it would be a no-brainer. So I was able to do this opportunity, and it was actually located in Chicago. So Nike has offices in Chicago that have Jordan, Nike, and they have like sportswear, basketball, everything there. And so first, the thing started off with, we had a trip to headquarters. We went there 3 or 4 times. We had a lot of great opportunities. So this was the first day on the screen. And so if you want to click to the next slide, I'll start going through the process. Okay. Yeah, so I had a lot of great experiences with being able to do this internship. It was just 4 months long, but I was able to touch a lot of things. And with being in Chicago, it's a smaller office, and the Jordan team is only 6 people. So I was able to do a lot and contribute a lot, which I thought was a lot more special than with being at the headquarters. It was fun to visit and go and grow my network there, but being in a city, I was able to touch a lot more and work across functions. So on the left and then the bottom, like middle picture, so I was able to participate in Hoop Fest in Spokane, Washington. So it's like, so I never heard of it prior to this, because I'm a basketball player. It's the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And so one of the people who was my manager, Josh Tunson, he's like the North Central marketing director for the Jordan brand. And he was an intern. He started off as an intern working with Nike and Jordan. When he was an intern, he got to participate in this. So I was lucky to have him as like a mentor, and he wanted to make sure that my internship was a great experience, and I got to touch a lot of different areas of Nike and Jordan like he did. And so he put me in contact with the basketball team out in California. So that's everyone at the bottom. They're all in Cali and with Nike basketball. And so that they were the ones really in charge of this whole I guess you'd call it event. And so we had vertical testing with the Giannis shoe. So the weekend of the Giannis release. So it was really cool to be able to talk to people there and have them try out the shoe they were able to wear to jump, since he's known as a Greek freak. So it was a cool experience. And then while I was also in Chicago, there's, for people who don't know, like AAU is like the travel program for men's and women's like basketball while you're in high school and middle school. And they have a big tournament for girls in Chicago during the summer. And so I was able to style some of the WNBA players who were going to that event. So I got to work with basketball once again, not just Jordan. And then I also got the cool opportunity. I got really close with everyone with working at Jordan that when All-Star was happening this past year in Chicago, I flew back out and helped them out with All-Star once again. So it was cool. So we got to go. It was more so because when I was with Jordan, I did a release of the AJ1 satin. So it was for women, which was cool because as being a basketball player, a lot of the gear we were getting were mainly towards men. So it was cool to see Jordan taking the step towards having clothes for women as well as shoes. And so the weekend over at All-Star was the dropping of the women's clothing and some more shoes. So it was cool to participate in that. And then on the right, we got to go to like Michael Jordan's private party. So you get a lot of exclusives with working with Nike and Jordan. So it's just a cool experience that I was able to take advantage of with building such a strong network while interning there. Okay, we can go to the next slide, I think. Okay, yeah. So my role was a Jordan brand and sales intern, which was cool because I was interested in sales, was doing the sales and marketing track through Ross. And then I was a communication major as well. So as you can see on the left were my people who were in Chicago with me, so it was fun. And then the middle picture is part of the Chicago office. It's like 2 floors. That's like the first floor where we'll do a lot of hosting. Usually set up a lot of tables and people are always visiting. And then on the right is my team who I was with. So starting on the left is Josh, who I said was the marketing director. Tanya, she was the senior business director for Jordan Brand, and now she's the Jordan GM for Asia Pacific and Latin America. And then it's me, and then we go to Bree, and she was in the marketing and brand team as well, and Albert at the end was marketing and brand too. And then I think I have one more slide. Okay, yeah. Oh, I guess I forgot the eye. So this is a set and sip and paint. So this is at the event I ended up actually being able to create and bring to life, which is really cool. So starting off with the internship, they of course have all these like rooms. It's a really cool office in Chicago, and we're brainstorming ideas for the shoes that we're releasing. I'm going to be being in one of the cities and one of the major hubs. It's cool because a lot of the shoes that are releasing, you have all these events around, so it's fun to plan. With the Jordan team being so leanly staffed, I ended up just we were like coming up with ideas one day, and I was like, okay, let's just sip and paint. And ended up sticking. And then since they were so leanly staffed, they're like, okay, Holly, you come up with some ideas and bring it to life. So it was cool. I was able to bring it to life. And so what we did, it was a 2-day event. So the first day consisted, as you can see on this top left picture, it was just a more inclusive group, 10 influencers and 10 just normal, regular Chicago people. All women though. And we did a satin sip and paint. So as you can see, we had like rosé, Chardonnay, and some champagne. And so it was a cool event to see and have all these women from different backgrounds come together and just be able to build network and relationships. And then as you can see, one of the examples of one of the girls painted was below, and we had these like kind of in the center stage of the event. So everyone was able to see what everyone produced. It was a really cool and fun time. Oh, sorry. And so then, as you can see at the bottom left, that was the shoe that we did this event around. So that's the AJ1 satin. And so it was around the colorway is the Chicago colorway, which is really cool to do in the city of Chicago. Everyone knows about it. It's the same shoe that Jordan wore when he got the logo for the Jordan brand. Of course, the satin wasn't on it, but it was the satin for the women. And then on the right, you can see more of what the event really looked like when it happened. So that's really everything that happened in 4 months. So it was crazy and it was a really cool experience. I highly recommend working with Maurice and everyone at Impact to be able to set yourself up for success. They are really into having athletes come, but they want to see students who are doing stuff beyond just athletics. So being able to have that community outlet and just being able to show that you're driven beyond sports is big for them. So I think everyone within Michigan has the possibility to work for them. I know everyone with being a student athlete, you're automatically driven, but I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to take advantage of.
Thank you, Holly. That's great to talk about your experiences. I'm excited. I would love to have had that opportunity. So if any of our student athletes that are on this call or that's going to listen to this or watch this later have an opportunity to be a successful athlete, what can they expect they want? What are they really walking in?
Oh, sorry. Can you say that again? You kind of cut out at the end.
So if any of our student athletes that's on this call here, or those that will listen later, have an opportunity to be that one or that chosen person that goes into have an opportunity with Nike, what can they expect day one walking into the doors, regardless?
It's definitely a lot. There's still, I mean, you could be in a city, you could be in New York, you can be in Chicago, you could be in Cali and in Texas too. So there's a lot of different places you can go. I think the most important thing I realized is just coming in with an attitude. And I know with talking with like my main boss, Tanya, at the end, she was like, that was one thing that I always like noticed. You came in every day and you were excited to get to work. And I think it shows when you have a passion for what you're doing and it's just so fun. It's like hard to keep it all contained, but just being able to go in there with an outlook of you want to be able to help more than just who you're aligned to. So making sure that you're growing your network while you're there, because Nike is a hard program to get into, but once you're in it, a lot of the time they take care of their people. So just being able to build that network. So when you have the opportunity or when you're looking to go back in, you have a lot of people you can reach out to. A lot of people know your name. They know your backstory, where you come from. So I think it's important just not to get comfortable. And I know that's the thing a lot of athletes know with sports, not getting comfortable, but it's the same when it comes to internships and jobs, just to separate yourself from everyone you're competing against.
That's good. That's a good thing. So I know Nike, they being highly competitive, they asked just for a few things of skills or things that they were looking for, requirements. What are some of the things that, that you could share with these student athletes that they should utilize being a student athlete? What would make them successful in this space?
I think it's communication. I know that's big. I think it's just being able to go out and sell yourself. I mean, you sell yourself on the court, on the playing field every day by just showing up and doing what you do best, but being able to communicate it. I know with working with Maurice, I was like, okay, I'm a basketball player. That's all I really have to bring to the table, but it's taking a step back and looking like you have leadership skills, you can communicate, you know how to time manage. And that was big. And it's crazy how easy it does transform into the work life when it comes to being put in that place, but being able just to sell yourself by maybe not having that experience when it comes to a lot of internships or jobs like other candidates might have, but being able to sell yourself as you work 40 hours a week, you're an athlete. You're basically, if you're a team captain, you're leading 12 or even more people every day in practice. And being able just to communicate and talk to people from different backgrounds. So Nike, although it is an athletic company, not everyone has a sports background. So being able to communicate and talk to people who do not use the same language as you. I think in sports you learn that too. You have new freshmen coming in every year. You have to be able to talk to them and make them come into your team and work effectively with everyone. So just being able to, I think, just sell yourself. I think that's what they want. At the end of the day, they want someone who's confident and who can talk to everyone and kind of make things come to life. So just bringing that confidence, I think, when it comes to the interviews and just being able to talk about experiences you have as being part of a team and relaying it how it correlates a normal person's life and every day.
Thank you. Would anybody have any other questions for Hallie before we proceed? Now is the time to ask. Great questions.
I have a question. So first, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It was great to hear about your experience as an intern. So my question is, your sophomore year, you said you were turned down and then you got it your senior year.
Mhm.
So what would you have done differently your sophomore year to make your application and that whole process that much better?
Yeah, so I definitely would have leveraged Maurice and Julie from the start. I mean, my seniors from the beginning of day one, they're like, you need to go and talk to Maurice and everyone in that office. I mean, it's in our academic center. And I was like, I don't need to worry about that right now. Like, I'm just so young. Like, and yeah, when I was talking to Nike about it, I think Maurice had the opportunity to talk to my recruiters too. And they're like, she just doesn't have the experience. At the end of the day, like, yes, she like is a good candidate, but she doesn't have the experience. So we, like, when it comes to putting me up against someone in my same spot that they've had internships before, like, it's hard to be able to sell myself when I just flat out don't have the experience on paper. So working with Maurice and Julie and finding, I mean, you have a social media person who posts about your guys' day every day, shadowing them for just one day. You can add that to your resume. Or shadowing people. I shadowed like Whitney Tarver. So shadowing, it's just like shadowing and doing one day shadows, because I know being an athlete, it's so hard to be able to get a full-time internship when you have a full-time job, basically your whole 4 years. But just making time when it's your off season and finding those weekend games that other sports are playing and seeing if you can tag along with one of the social media people or just someone that's going to be there that's working with Michigan, so you can add it to your resume.
Thank you.
Hey, Haley,
Yeah.
I have a question also.
Yeah.
My name's Ronald. I play on the lacrosse team. I'm a junior. I was just wondering, like, what was your favorite thing about interning at Nike? And you said you liked that you worked in a smaller group, a smaller team. So was that your favorite part, or was it something different?
So my favorite part was just being able to, like, I think overall, it was being in Chicago and seeing that direct impact on the community. And that's what I realized with my current job. I don't feel like it's fulfilling that. And I felt like with a Nike, I was able to like contribute so much more. Whereas now I'm like so IT focused. So it's such a different field. So that was probably my favorite part, is just to see the community impact, because they do so much stuff on the weekends with their communities. And then with these shoe drops, you have all these events that include all different types of people. So just be able to work with so many different people. They all have the same love for the brand. So it's cool to see how a shoe and clothing brand brings so many people together. Okay, sorry, what was the other part of the question? I got lost there.
No, you answered it. I was just asking, like, what was your favorite part about it? Like your for the community.
Yeah. And I think it's cool just to meet new people too. With having my Chicago group, we were really close. There's only 5 of us. We were able to go to Oregon, so we met a lot of other interns there. And then also just meeting, when I would go to Oregon, I'd always like set up 8 or 10 meetings with just Nike or Jordan people there, and just learning their stories and how they got started. So it was just really cool to grow my network. I didn't really realize how important a network was until I started doing like these internships. So it was cool just to learn more about people and be able to have those people to reach out to when it comes to looking for new opportunities and just creating friendships that last. I was surprised how long a lot of these friendships have lasted. So it's cool to see.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Other questions? Those are great questions. Okay, so we'll press on. We also we asked Craig, who was our candidate last year that worked at Nike, for her response. Of course, Craig is on the women's field hockey team. Here's a video from Craig to talk about her experiences.
Hi guys, I'm Craig Metz. I'm a senior on the Michigan women's field hockey team, and I interned at Nike last summer. I was in the global operations department working in marketplace operations. I had an incredible summer. I learned a ton, and it was a super interesting time to be at Nike. We were virtual, which was also pretty interesting. But I really loved my experience and everyone I got to work with. The intern class was incredible. My managers were super supportive and my mentors were great. If you have any questions or want to learn more about my experience, please feel free to email me or text me, and I'd be happy to talk to you guys about it. Good luck.
So as you see, we got some experiences there. So how do we get there? So let's talk about the application timeline, right? Important. These dates are very important. So October 2nd, which is coming up, if you're in one of our STEM majors, this is the time that, the finance, operations, engineering, tech, and so on and so forth. This is the time you should be signing up. I just sent the link in the chat. You have to go and register yourself in there. The deadline, as they mentioned, is a strong suggestion, but they will accept applications shortly after the deadline. But that's not how we do it, right? So we're going to make sure that I want all of you to make sure all of your resumes together, connect with me, Julie, or Cody, and so we can make sure that you are prepared for this, and go ahead and submit your application or your registration for that date. October 28th through November 2nd is when the virtual presentations will start. They will conduct 8 virtual presentations to provide you all with more information. Hallie, do you remember your virtual presentation? Do you remember what they were talking about at all?
Yeah, so they give you a lot of more insights of, well, I guess it might be different. I don't know if it's going to be like virtual looking, but it shows you what it's going to look like, what the campus looks like, what like opportunities you'll have. It's kind of just it is a cool video. They show you like the campus and everything and just give you some more insights. And then they do open it up for Q&A at the end.
Great, that's good. So this year there's a little bit of a change. Again, they said attendance is not mandatory as it used to be in the past, but again, I would still encourage, put your name in the hat. I would encourage you to participate in those virtual presentations. And then we move on to November 13th, application deadline. Following the conclusion of the presentations, the individual that has been signed up and submitted their resumes will receive a link to formally apply for the internship. Now, as you noticed in the email I sent out, there are tons of different areas that you can apply to. I would encourage you all, if you strongly believe that those are the areas that you want to work in. Now, hopefully, these are areas that are aligned with your career interests. That gives you more of a leverage versus saying, I just want to be at Nike, right? We want you to be serious about this brand. It's more than a brand, right? And the answer is never going to be just because I wear it. I've always worn Nike. How do you see yourself fitting in this organization, right? And that's what we want. November 16th through the 1st, resume screening. So now they're looking at that resume that we help you put that together. Nike representative will review the resumes and select the top candidates from each school. So we're looking at it as a school at Michigan Athletics, right? So we want student athletes in each of those different areas and categories. Understanding, being mindful that they're not only recruiting in athletics, they're recruiting on campus too, right? But the intangibles and the things that you all bring to the table is what traditional students do not have. So that's what we want to capitalize on. Starting December through almost close to Christmas, we get the first rounds of interviews with the recruiter. January 2nd, a round of interviews with the hiring managers. We make it to that round. Again, we've been successful in years past. March comes in, we start our spring march with an offer to work at Nike. And then April, you have the hiring process. You'll receive your assignments. Any questions about this timeline? All right, so look at the qualifications. Current year, your 3rd year. What I heard recently is that if you are a senior going to your 5th year, a little bit different than the past, they're still looking at, so we all juniors here, but students or seniors going in their 5th year, I think they're accepting experience leading projects and or people. You all have those skills on each of your teams. I also want you to think about leading in the classroom, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be on your team. What have you done in the classroom projects, volunteering opportunities, those type of things. Julia, Cody, can you think about other areas where our students could find opportunities to talk about leading?
Yeah, kind of just going off of leading in the classroom, talking about, Hallie mentioned being on within the capital sales track. So maybe highlighting relevant projects that you've done in some of your classes that really directly relate to what you want to do next, and really taking advantage of highlighting some opportunities. If everybody on this call is a student athlete, you want to have in the back of your mind or head if everyone's a student athlete, what else do I have to bring to the table that will diversify me and get me the opportunity? So really thinking outside of the box and in leveraging the skill set that you have, if you are a captain or, things that might be a little bit different from other people, talking about past jobs or internships or shadowing opportunities that you've had as well. But yeah, like Mo said, making sure you're leveraging things that you've accomplished in the academic setting, because they'll use that to translate how you perform in the professional setting.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Excellent communication skills, both written and verbal. We've seen this. You know, what's interesting to me is these are the qualifications that they listed, right? It's not a lot, right? But you bring so much more to the table. Another thing they ask for success, you to be able to navigate ambiguity while working within a team in a team environment. That's who you are, right? It's what you do. And then the last thing that they want is a 3.0 or higher. I preferably would say 3.2 or higher. Why? Because very, very competitive, right? Again, with that competitiveness, your discipline in the classroom, the work that you're doing, also you being a student athlete and what you kind of bring to the organization is what's really important. Would you agree with that, Howard?
Yeah, completely. I think I mean, they know you're an athlete. Nike's known for having a lot of athletes, so being able to separate yourself and show your like other side, how you are as a person. I think they care about that a lot more because they work with athletes. They know what athletes can bring, but be able to show what you can bring from a personal level.
Good. Okay. All right. Any questions about these qualifications? Anything? All right. So how do you prepare? How do we get you there? The first thing I want you all to think about, I want you to take a moment and I want you to write in the chat box one superpower that you have. So what is a superpower? It's something that you only bring to the table because each of you are so unique. So to get into Nike, why should you, because of the superpower you have, be accepted to Nike? So we'll wait. We'll give you a couple minutes to think about what you bring, a superpower.
Mo, what's one of your superpowers if you were applying? Give an idea of the kind of things to be thinking about.
Interpersonal relations, being able to work with different types of people in different settings. It's a great thing. I'm sure Hallie would contest that as the interns, they're meeting people from all over the country, maybe different schools, you know, different majors. So being able to work on those small teams, yeah, interpersonal relations. What's a superpower you have, Joe?
I would say my ability to just jump in whenever someone needs assistance. Some would refer to it as kind of a chameleon. Just be ready to take on any role, whatever's going to help the team succeed, get to our goals, and get things to the finish line, so to speak. So that's definitely that'll be my superpower, being able to be a chameleon.
That's good stuff. Madison said adaptability. Why, Madison? Why is that a superpower of yours?
I would say just being able to kind of pivot from being an LSA student to now a Ross student. And then with getting injured during track last season, I was able to kind of like change my training right away to more of like not as hard training stuff to make sure that I can be ready for the next season. So just being able to adapt to different situations that happen in my life.
Great, good stuff. All right, I don't see any more. I'm at the call. Ronald, team organization. Why team? Why team? Why Ronald?
Well, I may have worded that wrong. I was just trying to say like organizing skills, like especially with COVID, I've had to like get together with random people for projects, group projects, and like that's pretty tough on its own. But like online, you have to like figure out what time you're gonna meet and how you're gonna meet and just all of that. I feel like my communication skills within that group allow everyone to like work on a project and actually know what time we're gonna do it.
Okay, that's good stuff. Who else? So it looks like we're gonna have to call on people. Ava.
I think mine would be taking a bit from what's already been said, but I think mine would be my communication skills, both written and verbal. I think I'm pretty good at getting my message across and adapting to who I'm talking to, whether it's somebody in a position of authority or on a more personal, casual basis to like teammates or peers. So I think that's one skill I have.
Okay. How about you, Gabrielle?
I would personally say probably my determination and leadership. So I'm willing to, if I'm in a group and something's not going right, or this could either be on the team in a workout or even like a group project for one of my engineering classes, like I'm willing to step it up and do what we need to do to get something done.
Okay, good. How about you, Ching?
Is it me? Or I would say my strengths are probably first versatility. So like just kind of similar to adaptability. Just kind of like understanding where I am and performing at any situation that I'm placed in.
Zach, you there?
Yeah. I'd say my main ones would probably be problem solving skills and adaptability. I've been kind of thrown in a bunch of different situations throughout the years. And I feel like I've been able to overcome them and just really thrived in the position.
Why are superpowers important? Why would I ask you about superpowers? What's important about them? What's the point? What's the point? Anybody? Cody.
I think it's
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I think it's important to show that in your like cover letter or show that in your resume because like you want to build off that and really show give specific examples on like your superpowers.
Okay. When else would you be discussing superpowers? What do you think, Cody?
Who else would you be discussing it with? Is that what you just asked?
When else would you be discussing superpowers? What you bring to the table? How would that come to pass?
Oh man, it would happen all the time. So you're going to talk about it in your resume. You're going to talk about it in your cover letter. You're going to be definitely talking about it in your interview. One of the things, and for those that have had interviews, they're going to ask you, what's one thing that separates you from other people, or what's one thing that you think they'll essentially ask you this question just in a different way. But the more that you know and you're aware of the things that you really excel at, if you aren't aware of it, you can't talk about it. And an employer may see that in you, but if you don't know you're aware of it, it's no good to them. So you want to make sure anytime that you have something and you're working on something, or you identify your strengths and you're able to communicate and also talk about how that makes it valuable to them. So, if you're an excellent interpersonal communicator like Maurice is, and he says, I understand this is something where you have to leverage a bunch of different teams and people and experts. That's one of my best skill sets. I'd be an immediate value to this team because of that. And that's something that gets them to think, okay, I could see this person being in this role now. And you're kind of shaping that idea for them.
So Julie, if we were reviewing the job descriptions and research at Nike, how would those superpowers play? How would those superpowers work for you? I think she froze. Did she freeze?
I'm here. You want to be sure that you're matching up what they're looking for and the qualifications or job responsibilities with what you're articulating, right? Like you might have 5 different superpowers, but you really want to focus on the ones that are most aligned with what you're applying for. And definitely like the third bullet here, review job descriptions and research them. Nike's huge on company culture, keywords, values, and things like that. So making sure you are incorporating some of those keywords authentically into your cover letter and resume, just to also, show them that you're paying attention and show them that this is something that's important to you. So that's it. If you're saying you have high attention to detail, and maybe that's one of your superpowers, incorporating some keywords that are in Nike's mission statement into your cover letter or resume is an direct example of that. So that's how you can leverage.
That's good information there. We're moving on to interview skills. Joe, you've interviewed for a couple positions. You great interpersonal skills, communication skills. So how do you utilize all this? How can they prepare or practice to be the best candidate during interviewing?
The short answer to that, Mo, is literally just practicing interviewing yourself, whether it be a mock interview with someone in the MAC or whether it's just you kind of answering your own mock questions that you made up for yourself. Before that, you'll want to start by doing some research, what questions you think you'll be asked, and kind of elaborate, your responses off your results from there. but really it's just making sure you're prepared to have a conversation with the person that's interviewing with you and elaborate on your skills and the experience that you have. And then further, the experience is not necessarily listed on your resume or something that they don't really know about you. Be ready to share that as well. I found success with it, and there's really no excuse not to be able to prepare the way you want to be mentally get yourself in front of the interviewer when you practice, and you'll realize when the interview actually does happen, it goes by like this, just because it flows so well and it's so conversational because you've prepared and readied yourself for that opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hallie, one last thing. Again, thank you for taking the time, because I know you're busy, right? I know you're busy. Of all of these things on how to prepare, what are we missing? Right? What is that thing that would help us stand out beyond bar none of any other school that's competing?
I think it's just reaching out to the people who are doing this in the first place. Like, I know I've had some athletes at Michigan already. I've already talked to a few of them about this internship, and so they have some names, and I can send over a list of names of the person who does this, Charlotte. She's in charge of the internship. Just getting in front of her, talking to her, building that personal connection, because people don't hire you because of your resume. It's because of you as a person. I mean, you need the stuff to back it up, but a lot of it does separate you of how you're going to be remembered at the end of the day. So being able to set yourself apart. I know times are different now with everything being virtual, but I would always send like a written thank you note, just trying to find another personal touch to separate and to be remembered by. It's big, but I think one of the things that on this list that helped me the most to prepare for was just practicing the interview. I know, Maurice, you would ask me all kinds of questions. It'd be like, when have you been in a situation where like I don't know what kind of questions. They're like, I don't know what they're called, but those type of questions where it's just like, okay, tell me about a time when something didn't go your way. What did you do? Like those type of questions, just being able to be like quick with it and just having ideas when it comes to those things right off the bat, having it both be athletic, both personal, and then both just outside of being an athlete. I think that's what helped me the most. I remember the first time I went through it, and you're like, yeah, they're going to ask you these questions. I was like, oh, I'm good. Like, no worries. And then it came, and I was like, I think I just talked about basketball. And then I was like, I just didn't have enough experiences to fall back on, but I probably had so many more, but all that was fresh in my mind was just basketball. So being able to practice this interview so you sell yourself more than just an athlete.
That's a good point. Behavioral questions, right? Those behavioral
Oh, yes.
Right. And the cool thing about behavioral questions is it's no wrong answers, right? It's how you respond, right? Because it's your story that you're presenting. Again, you want to respond with confidence. All they know about you, ladies and gentlemen, is what you put on a resume. They don't know anything else. You definitely have the advantage here because you can do the research on the company. You know what their mission statement is. You know what their values are. And you know how you can integrate and make that company better. Again, any questions for us while we're here? No questions? Everybody's ready? We're prepared? All right, so if you do, this is your team, right? This is how we'll help you prepare for that. Definitely reach out. Let me see. And Charlotte, Hallie put Charlotte Kehoe's information on there. Definitely reach out to her. If you need assistance in creating and crafting an introductory email to her, reach out to a member of this team here, and we'll help you do that. Again, to Hallie's point, you want to be the known candidate, right? They don't just hire you because you have a great resume, right? You have to go in and present yourself. I'm gonna put a plug in. How do you prepare? October the 6th, we're gonna do mock interviews, and these mock interviews are gonna be in preparation for October 7th, virtual career kickoff. If you have not applied for the virtual kickoff, Cody, if you could talk a little bit about that, very, very important for you to do that, right? But we have a series of career week preparation sessions to get you ready for that. Those sessions will get you ready for this Nike opportunity as well. So Cody, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so October 7th is going to be our this year's version of the fall career kickoff, which is going to be done virtually through the Career Fair Plus platform. You may have, I don't know if you've been involved on some of the other fairs on campus, but we're going to be doing the same platform as the other career centers. We're going to be having 45 probably companies who will be coming in, recruiting you guys specifically. There's going to be 2 options to meet with employers. There's a public room option. So every company is going to have essentially a drop-in room where you're going to come and hear about general information, maybe specific opportunities. And there's also going to be an opportunity to schedule one-on-one sessions with employers as well. So you're going to be able to see the availability of those. So if you go to Handshake and register for this event, just like you would anything else, it's going to kick you over to Career Fair Plus, where you're going to have to create a quick profile, and you cannot attend the fair if you don't have a profile. So make sure you do that. It takes about 20 seconds. But from there, you're going to see the whole company list, and about 16 of the companies now have created their sessions already. So get the jump on everybody else and get in some of those sessions. We've got some really great employers coming. And then, as Maurice had mentioned, on October 6th, we're going to be having an interview webinar boot camp in honor of Career Week. We'll be having Ford Motor Company, Domino's, and University of Michigan Credit Union will all be there, who will also be at the Career Fair. So some early FaceTime with them. They've got a lot of opportunities as well, but also there to help you kind of navigate that and maybe offer some advice for how to navigate it in a virtual setting as well.
Good information. Again, Hallie, thank you for taking the time to come and spend some time with us to talk about this Nike experience.
Of course.
You should have received.
Of course, I'm glad I could help.
Mm-hmm. And if you know, Hallie, any of our alum, those who graduated and you're talking to and they're looking to make a transition, let me know. Send me their names. And we're inviting them back to the kickoff as well, because there's opportunities for them. Well,
perfect.
All right. That's it. I want you all to, again, enjoy your Friday. Glad that you're here. And if you got to go, go blue.